going on, guys? Anthony Wade here, and welcome to the show. If this is your first time, this show exists to help you with the principles and practices, the tools and the tactics to be a better leader, to increase your influence, your impact, and your intention in the world with those you lead and those you love. You know, one of the things that I see today are a lot of people who don't recognize the power of influence. And in fact, they just kind of go throughout their life, letting it happen to them, as opposed to making it happen for them. So if you're here, welcome. I hope you get something from today. In fact, I know you will, because I get positive feedback. I get so many downloads each month, and it's been really cool to see this show grow. And that tells me that there's a need for more leaders like yourself. And here's the thing. I've never spoken at an organization. I've never been to a place where they said, you know what, Anthony, the biggest problem that we have here is that we have too many good leaders. In fact, if that's you and you're probably thinking, well, you know, I'm not a leader because I don't have the position, the title, or the permission. Here's the thing. You're leading somebody. There's somebody somewhere that wants to be where you're at. So never discredit how far you've come. Never discount how far you have yet to go. So welcome to the show. If you're watching on YouTube, comment below and let me know where you're tuning in from. If you're listening on podcast platform, go ahead and give it a follow. Give me a review. Give me a like. If you find something of value, then share it with somebody. That's all I ask. This is completely done for free, and it's for you. Me sharing 20 years of leadership experience, you know, how I've been able to go from being at once a homeless teenager to working in the White House, to being able to be a naval officer now and lead other people. I am a practitioner, not just a preacher. So what I speak about are real life things that I'm going through, because like you, I am continually growing as a leader. I am at a certain level, but what I realized is that at every level, there's new devils. And that new devil is usually the mindset, the limiting beliefs, the lack of belief, old programming, and really kind of getting over ourselves. And just like you, I'm in the same boat. Every time that I go in to do something new, challenging, something I've never done before, those same little voices that ask me, who do you think you are? Remember where you came from? All those little things, I deal with that too. So this is kind of a culmination of what I'm growing through in the moment as a leader. So just so you know, I don't have it all figured out. I am not your guru. I am somebody who's on this journey with you, and it's an honor to have you. So welcome. Today, what I want to talk about is this power of discipline. You know, most people come to me and they say, you know, how do I get more disciplined? How do I cultivate the discipline in my life to do what I know I should be doing? Have you ever wrote down some goals and really wanted to go and do and have more in your life, but along the way, something happened, maybe a distraction that kind of knocked you off of this path towards discipline? Have you ever looked at an area of your life and said, you know, I need to be more consistent? You showed up once, you got the win, and then you rested on the successes of yesterday, only to find that they didn't compound into the big successes for tomorrow. You know, discipline is one of those things that people think that you're born with, and it's not. It's something that's created every single day. Like a muscle, you must flex it. You must work it out every day to grow it. And discipline is one of those things that I see a lot of people, you know, they lack this in their life every day. You can look at somebody and tell if they're disciplined or not. You can look at somebody's life and see if they've been consistent in their relationships. You can tell if they've been consistent in their health, their wealth. And I'll tell you that it's really interesting to see this thing called discipline. And here's the thing. Discipline requires consistency. And I want you to understand that consistency always compounds, and it could be good and it could be bad. Like you can be consistently eating bad foods and you will end up with the health disease. You can consistently eat healthy and be in great shape. You can consistently pour into your relationships and have a wonderful marriage. You can consistently neglect your marriage and find yourself in a divorce. So consistency is good or bad. You get to decide. We get to choose what we're going to be consistently doing and what we need to consistently do to become that person. And so here's the thing that I found about consistency. If you ever desire to taste success in your life, the first victory that we must have is the first victory that we must win is usually over ourselves. You see, most people today have no control of their self. In fact, it's easier to lead other people than it is to lead yourself, because you can go tell somebody to do something and they'll get it done. But when we tell ourselves to do something, it's really easy to find a way to be too busy, to find a way to, not have the time, or, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. And if you ever desire to taste success, understand this: the first victory we must win is over ourselves. This is where many get stuck. This is where most people fall short, is in this leading ourself. And I'll tell you that your credibility as a leader today is going to be determined by your ability to lead you. If you can't lead you, you can't lead me. And if I can't lead me, then I have no business trying to lead you. Does that make sense? And so the first person you must always attempt to lead is you. And you see, most people fall short here because they can't seem to get over their BS, their belief system, right? In fact, this is what paralyzed me for years. I focused so much on what I didn't have, what I didn't do, and who I wasn't, and really where I came from. I would let my past predict my future, and it would be my own belief systems that got in my way to getting to the next level. And in fact, not only just getting to the next level, but when I got there, then leading at the next level. There's a difference between going to the next level, and there's a difference between leading at the next level. You can go through this life, and if you wait around long enough, you will get promoted, you will move forward. But why wait? Instead, create the opportunities by who you become. Create the job, create the relationship, create the health, the wealth, the spiritual walk. Create that by who you become. Most people let life happen to them. I want you to understand that you can make life happen for you, but it requires that you are disciplined. And so the truth is that none of that matters whenever you're focused on where you are going. You see, when I was focused on what I didn't have, who I wasn't being, what I didn't do, where I came from, that didn't matter whenever I focused on what I was and where I was going. You see, the past is for us to see how far we've come. It's not meant for us to dwell on what we haven't become. It's required to see how far we've come, but it doesn't dictate who you will become. You get to do that. And I want to encourage you that if you're stuck in the past, it's time to start looking forward. And where your focus goes, your energy flows. And many of us waste so much energy. In fact, I wasted so much energy on the past instead of getting clear on the vision of what I want for my future. I look at my life today, and it's almost identical, word for word, of what I wrote down many years ago in a time where I was at an all-time low. My vision was to have a family and to be the father that I never had, to be the leader inside my own home, to have a fruitful marriage, to be able to be a leader in my professional and personal life. And as I look at my life today, that's what I've created because I got clear on the vision. There was a desire, but I also found myself in desperation. And many of us, maybe you're there right now. Desperation is not bad because it will drive our intention and action. When you hurt enough, you will grow. When you learn enough, you will grow. And I'll tell you that most people wait until it's too late, or at least they think it's too late. It's never too late to grow into who you want to be, what you want to do, and to have the things that you want to have. And so what happens is whenever we focus on our past instead of our future, what I've found is that this often leads to feeling defeated. And as a result, we let complacency set in. Here's something I want you to write down. Complacency's companion is irrelevancy. As soon as you let complacency set in, especially as a leader, you get to a certain point and you say, I made it. Oh, this is the good life. I can stop growing now. As soon as you become complacent, you risk being irrelevant. And everywhere that I've seen complacency in my life, I've become irrelevant. Irrelevancy is the companion of complacency. And I'm often asked, like, why, Anthony, why are you so motivated? I'm training for an Ironman and people ask me, like, why? I don't get it. And here's the thing. Why are you constantly pushing yourself to the limit? I'm not doing it for validation. I've gotten over that. For a long time, I sought validation. I sought approval. I wanted the pat on the back, and I was very disappointed when I didn't get that. And so the reason why I continue to push the limits or push myself past my current situation is because I have to challenge myself if I'm going to lead by example. I don't want to be the leader that just maintains the status quo, that just kind of meets the expectation. I want to be the leader, and I want you to be the leader that raises the expectation, raises the standard, who is the example. And in order to challenge other people to raise their standard, I must first raise mine. And so all the things that I do are deliberately done to constantly remind myself of who I'm becoming and who I must become in order to be that leader that when people see me, I want to follow him. That's what I want them to say. And the same thing goes for you. You should be that leader where people say, I want to follow her. I want to follow him. Not because of what they say, because they're motivational, but because they're disciplined. That they are setting the bar in their personal and professional life. They're not just talking the talk, they're walking the walk. Again, I want to be a practitioner, not just a preacher. But how many people do you know in leadership positions who do just that? They preach a good word, they talk a good talk, they're motivational and inspirational. And then you peel back the curtain and look at their life, and you realize that their words aren't aligned with their actions. In fact, you can look at some of these people today that are talking about influence and impact, and you see how they're carrying themselves, and I wouldn't follow them anywhere. But they have the audacity to tell you how to be a better man, a better spouse, a better wife, a better leader. And I'll tell you that that's the problem that we have in the world today. We have a lot of preachers, but not enough practitioners. And so I want you to be a practitioner. And the only way that I found to be able to do this in my life is through discipline. And here's the thing about discipline. Discipline is the ability to give yourself a command and follow through with it, regardless of how you feel. Okay. And in order to do this, we have to challenge ourselves every single day. I have to challenge myself emotionally, physically, spiritually, relationally. I got to get out of my comfort zone, because if you're going to grow, and you should be growing, because as a leader, your job is to grow other people. If I can't grow me, then I can't grow you. If I can't lead me, I can't lead you. If I can't challenge me, then I can't challenge you. As a leader, we can never get or give what we do not possess. We can never give what we do not possess. We cannot take people where we have yet to go. It's simple. It's so simple, but yet so difficult, because we have so many people, again, who are trying to take people somewhere they've never been. This overnight success, right? We want this instant gratification. Here's the thing about consistency. It's not sexy. It's not convenient. It's not the overnight, the highlight, the get rich quick. It's none of that. It requires you to do the things that you must do every single day, put in the reps so that you get the results. And so, like you, I've had limiting beliefs that sneak up on me. They try to sneak up and strip me from all that I am working towards. Remember where you came from. Remember where you've been. Remember the last time you felt. And in order to defeat those negative thoughts or those emotions, we have to really challenge those beliefs. And the way we do that is through action. It's not through reading another book or listening to a podcast or, watching some motivational talks. It's through action. Belief drives behavior, and behavior is changed through building proof. And what I found is that you can read the books, but if you don't take action, it's not going to do any good. Your intention is good only when it's backed by good action. And so I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but listening to this podcast, hopefully it sparks something inside of you to say, okay, what do I need to start taking action on? Because the last thing I want you to do is to feel good watching this or listen to this and then go back to your normal self. I'd hate for you to go read another book, put it down, and then just go back to your normal life. Something inside of you has to change before the outside changes. You have to start growing from the inside out. And here's the thing. Every day you're going to get a vote of who you are becoming or who you once were. And if you look at most people today, they're stuck in the past of who they once were. Oh, remember that one time back in the good old days, when I was the high school quarterback, that kind of stuff. Most people are living in the past. I want you to get a vote every single day for who you are becoming. And you do that through the proof that you're building from the actions that you take. And here's the thing about this, right? You get a vote for who you're becoming or who you once were. One is forward focused. The other is irrelevant. Who you once were does not matter anymore. Good or bad. I don't care how great or shitty your past was. It doesn't predict your future. And so what's the solution? It's building the discipline, right? Discipline, the ability to give yourself a command and follow through with it. Remember, discipline is the separator between those who are good and those who are great. Discipline is that elusive thing that separates people who stay still or end up becoming irrelevant and those who move forward with purpose and on purpose and reach their full potential. I'm not the smartest person. I'm not the most qualified. I don't have all the certifications, but what I do have is discipline built through consistency. And I want you to understand that you don't have to be the best. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be the brightest, but you do have to be disciplined. And that is the great equalizer for a lot of people. Never forget this. Okay. There's 3 things I want to share with you about discipline. Self-discipline paves the road to results. When you dial in your discipline, you put in the reps, you will get the results. It's inevitable. Self-discipline bridges the gap between good intentions and good actions. Everybody has good intentions. There's a lot of great ideas, but the way you bring them to fruition is by taking action. Discipline bridges the good intentions with the good actions. Okay. And also self-discipline is the difference between temporary success and sustained success. You know, how easy is it to get a win and to, be a one-hit wonder? It's cool to get a win once. It's even better to be consistently winning through discipline. Okay. So how do you need to start building the consistency so you get to predict, your life becomes more predictable and you get the results over and over and over again. Okay. And, one of the things that I found is that, we're emotionally driven or we're discipline driven. Those are the 2 things that kind of, it's like a tug of war, push and pull. We're disciplined and then we have an emotion. Emotions are feelings, right? Energy, emotion. And emotions really are the feelings that take us away from the things that we know we should be doing. You don't feel like going to the gym, so therefore you missed a day and all of a sudden you feel like crap. It's too cold outside. I feel uncomfortable, so I'm not going to take action. I'm going to wait till it's the right time. Well, the more and more you wait, the more and more you hesitate, the less and less likely you're going to do what you're supposed to be doing. And what I found is that when an emotion gets in the way, because they will, right? There'll be days where you don't feel like it. You're too tired. You don't have what it takes. You have a negative thought process. You're feeling depressed. You're feeling anxious. Here's what I found. Anytime that you feel like an emotion is taking over, ask yourself this, or tell yourself this. This is kind of what I tell myself. Don't focus on what you are going through. Focus on what you are going to. And so instead of thinking about why does this happen to me, ask yourself, why must I make this happen for me? So don't focus on what you're going through, the current situation or the circumstance. Focus on what you're going to. And when you do that, that vision is what pulls you forward. And when you don't feel like it, you think and ask yourself, am I getting closer to making my vision come to life? Or am I getting further from making my vision come to life? And so don't focus always on what you're going through. Focus on what you're going to, okay? And ask yourself, what would be better? What would my life look like if this was better? My health, my wealth, my relationships, my spiritual walk. And let that vision of what those areas look like, if your best self showed up, what would that vision look like? And let it pull you forward instead of being drowned and bogged down by these emotions of not feeling like doing something, right? And here's the thing, when we focus on what we desire, we stop creating by default. And one of the things I'll tell you is that my default settings aren't set for success, and chances are yours aren't either. You see, our default settings are programmed by family, society, our upbringing, people with limiting beliefs, their own limiting beliefs. And what they do is they program these default settings at an early age, and then they affect us as an adult. And what I want you to think about is, what is it that I desire for my life? How can I create from a place of desire and not from default settings? Because default will happen when you're tired. It happens when you want to quit. Your default settings happen when you're lazy. But when you have a desire that's inside of you, a purpose or a passion that just really is inside of you that has to come out, no longer do you let your default settings dictate how you show up. You start creating a life by design. And that means that you're intentional with how you show up every single day. You have a vision, you have your values, and you have your virtues. Vision is what you will one day achieve. Your values is, what are the core values that I need to instill my beliefs in order to carry this out? And then what are the virtues, the habits, the behaviors that I need to do every single day to show my core values? You see, I don't have to tell people what I value. They can look at my life, take inventory and say, okay, he values his family. He values people. He values his health. He values leadership. He values adding impact and influence to other people. He values growing other people. And so you have to start thinking about that too. What are your core values, and how are you showing up every day to let everybody know what you value? You shouldn't have to tell them, you should show them. And here's the thing about discipline. I told you we're disciplined and emotional driven. When you're discipline driven, you do what's right, and then you feel good as a result. When you're emotional driven, you wait till you feel good, and then you do what's right. When you're discipline driven, it's commitment driven. It's driven from your commitments that you have made to yourself and to others. Whenever you're emotional driven, you're driven by a convenience. Only if it does good for me, only when it feels good, only when the time is right. I want you to be driven through your commitments. Make the commitments and keep the promises you make to yourself. When you're discipline driven, you make decisions based on core principles. This is your core values and your vision and your virtues. And you make decisions very quickly because they're based off of principles, sound principles. But when you're emotional driven, you make it off of popular opinion. You do the things that you think other people want you to do or what they tell you to do because it's popular, it's cool. Here's the thing. Most of those people aren't your friends. They won't celebrate your success, but they will celebrate your failures. Because when you change, it's uncomfortable for other people. You challenge them. Your change, your growth challenges other people. And they don't like challenge. Most people don't like challenge. They want complacency. And I'll tell you, when you're discipline driven, you believe it and then you see it. But when you're emotional driven, you have to see it before you believe it. And here's what I found. You must believe it way before you'll ever see it. If you don't believe that you can, that you will, you never will. You'll never take action. And that belief drives your behavior. So belief and then behavior. But when you're emotional driven, you wait and do the behavior. And then once you see the result, then you believe it. And so understand this, that when you're discipline driven, you can be a leader. But when you're emotional driven, you will always be a follower because you will be based off of a negative or positive emotion. You're waiting for the time to be right. And leaders go first. They don't wait for the time to be right. They make it right by taking action. So what's the secret to being disciplined and leading others and becoming the leader that others will gladly follow? It's consistency. Okay, here's some things about consistency. You know, this word has become a buzzword. It's become kind of cringe when other people hear it because, you know, it's not sexy. It's not the quick fix. It's not the get rich. It's not the highlight reel kind of word. This is something that says, hey, you're not going to be an overnight success, but over time, if you put in the work consistently, you can achieve success. And nobody wants to hear that today. We want the instant gratification. You know, most people see the glory, but they don't know the story. I can't tell you how many people say, well, Anthony, I want to do what you're doing. I want to be where you're at. No, you don't, because you're not willing to do what I had to do to get here. And that's why I speak and I step on stages so I can share people. Man, look, you see the glory, but you don't know the story. Let me tell you what it took to get here. The blood, the sweat, and the tears. And usually when they hear that story, no longer they want to be where I'm at. You have to run your own race and you have to understand that no matter what, consistency is the catalyst to your success. With it, you can go as far as you could have ever thought imaginable. Without it, you will be stuck and you will not gain traction in your life, no matter how you swing it. And so you see, consistency creates your reputation. What do you want to be known for? What do you want to be remembered as? The one-hit wonder or a consistent winner? It's easy to be good once, but the disciplined are good consistently. And also consistency builds trust. And when you have a reputation of somebody who's consistent, people begin to trust you. And trust is the foundation for leadership. Consistency also requires you to suck first. And here's what most people don't want to hear. And this is what most people won't tell you. You have to be willing to suck first. Okay. Suck less, and then success. When I got to speaking, man, I sucked. I was horrible. And I'm still growing as a leader, as a speaker, as a coach, and as a trainer, as a naval officer. You see, it's not perfection, it's progression. And here's the thing. The name of the game is progression. How can you be better every single day? But are you willing to suck first? Most people don't want to because they're afraid of criticism or judgment. Here's the thing. You could be the best and you're still going to get judged. People are still going to criticize you. It never goes away. But here's the thing. You will never be criticized by somebody who's doing better than you. I have yet to see it. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about what other people might think. The chances are they don't think. They can't think. They're so busy thinking about themselves. And so you have to be willing to suck less, and then success. Okay. Let me just tell you that right now. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's just the facts. The last one is consistency builds proof. Okay. Your belief drives your behavior, and belief comes from the proof. So how are you proving to yourself every day that you can, you will, and you must one day build the life that you want? You see, when you have a desire and you go to design the habits, the behaviors, the belief system to achieve what it is that you desire, you have to build a plan that's going to allow you to be consistent every single day. In Elite 360 Academy, my coaching group, we have 90-day targets, monthly checkpoints, weekly check-ins, and daily tactics. You take the 90-day goal and you break it into daily tactics so that you're putting in the reps every single day. You have to have touch points every day to prove to yourself that this is exactly what I want. It can't be weekly. It can't be monthly. It can't be, quarterly or yearly. You got to make it tactical every day. Because as soon as you let off the gas, you open up the door to negative thinking, negative criticism, negative self-judgment. You open it up to the naysayers. You open up to the people who laugh and tell you, what are you doing? This is stupid. But every day when you go to work and you go to war, guess what? You close that door and you close your mind off to the things that don't serve you. And you become aware of the things that should be cut out of your life. And so one of the things that I want you to ask yourself when it comes to taking action, when you know you should be doing what you're doing, you set your goals, you have the daily tactics that you should be doing. And if you need help with that, reach out to me. You can comment below on the YouTube channel. You can send me a message at Anthony at anthonywaitespeaks.com is my email. You can send it there and I'll get it. But if you need help putting this together, I'd love to give you a format or some kind of direction that can help you. I'll give you the layout of how I do this with my coaching clients. But I ask myself this question when I'm going for a run and it's too cold, or I don't feel like it, or I'm too tired, or I'm just too busy, or whatever else excuse that I have. I ask myself, does this move me closer to who I'm becoming? Hell yes or hell no. You see, when it comes to what you're building or what you desire, there is no room for gray area. There is no maybe. There is no I think so or perhaps. It's hell yes or hell no. And if the answer is hell yes, then you must take action regardless of how you feel. If it's a hell no, then it's hey, I'm not going to do this. This does not align with who I'm becoming, and I refuse to get a vote for my past. I'm getting a vote for my future. And you put it in this kind of game sort of way, it's very simple. You see, life is simple, but we make it more difficult. It can't be that easy, Anthony. It can't be as easy as hell yes and hell no, but it is. Discipline is easy. Chances are you're disciplined right now. Watching Netflix and chill is easy. It's discipline. It's hard work to sit there and, watch Netflix and chill every day. I can't do it. It's also discipline. It's also, discipline whenever you choose to go out and work out every day, or invest in your relationships every day, or read a book every day. It's just your perception of what you think success is. And if you believe it, it's possible. Most people don't take action because they don't believe that it's possible. I was there too. I understand. And if you need help with that, please reach out. And so here's the thing. When you get away from the gray area and you live on the land of hell yes and hell no, you begin to take action regardless of how you feel. Remember this: successful people do daily what unsuccessful people do occasionally. Successful people don't like doing it either, but they know they must do it to prove to themselves every day that it is possible. So what's it going to be for you? Are you going to choose to be more consistent, to dial in your discipline? Or are you going to continue to choose to live a mediocre life and be average? I hope that you are willing to set the standard, to be the standard, not just meet the expectation, but exceed the expectation. Be the expectation for those you lead and those you love. I appreciate you watching today. As a reminder, if you're watching on YouTube, comment below and let me know one takeaway that you got. And also go ahead and follow the channel. Give me a like. I would love and appreciate your support. And if you found value in this, share it with somebody you lead and somebody you love. And I'll see you guys next time.